What is up, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope everybody is having a great day. Yesterday was a crazy day in the Overwatch League once again. We started off with the matchup Boston Uprising, Florida Mayhem. The Boston Uprising finally looking good again. Unfortunately, not so much for the Florida Mayhem. The next matchup was the Los Angeles Gladiators taking on Seoul Dynasty. It was an alright match, not really that competitive, but at times Los Angeles Gladiators did put up a fight, which was fun to watch. We'll talk about that set. And then the last match of the day, which is the one we are going to talk about a decent amount, was the Dallas Fuel taking on the Los Angeles Valiant. And what the hell, dude? This is what I'm talking about with the Los Angeles Valiant. They go from having a very competitive match with the San Francisco Shock, one of the bottom tier teams in the league, and then they go from that to absolutely destroying the Dallas Fuel. Yeah, sure, they lost the last map, but those first three maps, dominant performance from the Los Angeles Valiant. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Dallas Fuel. What the hell is going on? Why is Effect sitting at the computers during halftime all alone on the stage? What is going on with him? The Dallas Fuel, what are you doing? That is the topic for today. If you guys are excited for this video and ready to stay up to date every single day on Overwatch League news, please do consider dropping a subscription. I upload videos like this every single day covering the Overwatch League, so if you need your daily Overwatch League fix, you can get it right here. And let's go ahead and hop into the video. We'll just start off with the first two sets. We won't get too much into them. We had the Boston Uprising taking on the Florida Mayhem. This wasn't really a close set at all. Florida Mayhem sort of put up a fight in a couple of the maps, but Boston Uprising, they looked pretty dominant. They seemed to be back, and this was a bit surprising. I thought this match was going to be a lot closer, especially considering how the Boston Uprising have been performing. They were 0-12 in their last three sets. They hadn't won a map yet, and yesterday the Florida Mayhem had a really close match against the London Spitfire, so I figured it'd be close. I knew the Boston Uprising were going to win, but Florida Mayhem, I don't know, they just really didn't put up a fight here. I just don't know what's up with the Florida Mayhem. They did look like they were improving for a second there, and now they're back to just looking like that average team that is staying very stagnant and lackluster for the whole season. As for the Boston Uprising, I was very impressed with them yesterday. They brought in mistakes. That was really cool. His Sombra was great on Route 66. And a star player yesterday, Striker, holy crap, this guy went off. Specifically on Route 66 in Hollywood, Striker was killing everything. He was beyond unstoppable. His stat line was 66 and 20 yesterday, plus 46 on the kill line. 22 more than anybody else in the game, which was No at 44. If we combine Dream Casper and Mistakes, his other two DPSs from the game, we add their kills up together, they only had 38. So almost double his DPS counterparts in kills. Striker had a phenomenal game. If you guys are interested in watching a hard carry performance, definitely go watch Route 66 in Hollywood. Striker, again, looked phenomenal. And the set was really just a stomp. Boston Uprising, they might be back. I hope they are, because they're a very exciting team to watch when they're playing good. So great work for them. And let's go to move on to that next set, which was the Los Angeles Gladiators taking on Seoul Dynasty. First thing I gotta say is, damn, Fisher is really good. It was so unfortunate that him and Gesture were on the same team and only one of them could play, because these two, Gesture and Fisher, might literally be the two best tanks in the entire world. Watching Fisher play for the Los Angeles Gladiators, he's like dragging these guys to good performances. It's crazy. I think without him, this game would have been a complete stomp. Sure, it wasn't all that close at all, but Fisher really did make it somewhat competitive on a couple of these maps. For instance, Hanamura. Fisher has actually looked very good on this map overall. Every time the Gladiators play this map, Fisher, he creates so much space. He somehow puts himself in a position where he can do so much damage, but also not die. I've talked about how Gesture and Mano are like magicians. They can somehow initiate a team fight, get inside of everybody, do so much damage, disrupt the other enemy team, get kills, and then somehow get out with a bunch of health left. It just comes down to timing and positioning, and I really do believe Fisher is one of the best main tanks in the league. And if the LA Gladiators, if their DPS players can really start getting some better performances in, they can start to become a better team, and probably one of the better Western ones. Asher played alright yesterday. As for like Hydration and Surefour, kind of up and down performances for them. Hydration looked good on the Pharah. He's always looked pretty good on the Pharah. I think that is his best hero. Surefour, again, he's playing too many heroes. He's playing both Hydration and Asher's role, which doesn't make sense to me. Asher went 10-0 on the Soldier 76 yesterday. Surefour, he went 2-3. What's the point of running Surefour and Asher on these same roles? Then we also had Surefour on Widowmaker, Sombra, Genji, Torbjorn, Tracer. He's playing too many heroes. I keep saying this in multiple videos of mine. They need to focus on Surefour being their hard hit scan, so Soldier 76, Widowmaker, and McCree. those need to be his heroes. He's always been good at most of those heroes throughout his career, and then they need to keep Asher limited to that Tracer. Maybe he can flex onto the Soldier, he did seem to have a good one, but limit him to just Tracer. And then Hydration, obviously keep him on Projectile. And if they do this, then I think they will have more consistent performances, and then their DPS players will only get better. Specifically Surefour, he's a very good player, we all know this, but why the hell is he playing Hydration's role and Asher's role at the same time? It honestly doesn't make sense to me. I would love to have insight on why they're doing that, but in my opinion, if they just narrow down the hero pools on these DPS players, they would be much better. And that's basically all I have to say for the LA Gladiators. Fisher looks amazing. Their DPS players are very inconsistent. They haven't been performing that well. And on the Seoul Dynasty side, damn dude, I am actually really surprised by Miro. He went from playing a horrible main tank last stage to one of the best in the league. He's no longer jumping in and suiciding, making bad decisions, and forcing his DPS players to have to clean up for him. He's now playing more cautiously and waiting for the right time to go in. He's not forcing anything, which I do believe was his biggest problem in stage 1. Every single team fight, it looked like he was trying to force an engage or something. And as I mentioned, that put his DPS players in awkward positions, especially his Tracer players. Which, by the way, now Munchkin has been playing phenomenally on that Tracer. There's been a huge step up in performance from him, and I really do think that was Seoul Dynasty's problem last stage. It was their Tracer player, their Winston player, and a little bit of the coaches taking out Ryu Jihong and putting in Jito. That made absolutely no sense, but other than that, the main problems were the Tracer and the main tank, and I think they're really improving at a fast rate in those roles now. And Seoul Dynasty look absolutely dominant in this meta so far. Fled is incredible on his role. He plays such a good hit scan. He plays such a good Genji. He is really a perfect flex player in this league. So look out for Seoul Dynasty in this stage, guys. I think they're going to take it all the way to the playoffs, and they could even win the whole stage. And now what everybody is waiting for, Dallas Fuel, Los Angeles Valiant. What the hell happened? First, let's talk a little bit about the Los Angeles Valiant. I'll save the Dallas Fuel for last. Basically, I've been saying it for a while in my videos. These guys are very inconsistent. And this match just proves it. They went from playing San Francisco Shock, having a very competitive match. They could have lost it. And let me remind you, the San Francisco Shock are a bottom tier team in this league. I think everybody can agree on that. They haven't had much success at all. They seem to lose to almost every single team besides the Shanghai Dragons and Florida Mayhem. And the Valiant, they really had a close match against them. They could have lost. Then they go up against the Dallas Fuel, a team that is on the rise. They just brought in XQC. He was back from his ban. He looked incredible against the Los Angeles Gladiators, played an insane match. He was creating all the space needed for their players, not really dying too much. He just seemed like he was doing a great job on the main tank role. He was in good positions, and because this was one of the weakest points for Dallas Fuel in stage 1, they looked much better, especially with the additions of their new players. Cam is playing out of his mind, and the Valiant literally just slaughtered them. Like, straight up just destroyed them hard. So if we look at this set and don't include Gibraltar, the first 3 maps only, the Los Angeles Valiant had 35 teamfight wins, and the Dallas Fuel only had 11. These first 3 maps were 3 of the biggest stomps I've seen so far. And Dallas Fuel had 81 kills to Los Angeles Valiant's 166. So more than triple the team fights won and more than double kills in these 3 maps. Incredible dominance by the Los Angeles Valiant on the Dallas Fuel. The Dallas Fuel, thankfully they did pick up that last map. They really needed that. Hopefully that gives them some type of confidence. I can't help to think that if they would have lost this map, all hell would have broke loose. They would have been back in their depressed stage, which they still might be. We're going to talk about that. But seriously, they needed that last map. They really did. And that's basically it for the Los Angeles Valiant. I don't know what makes them so inconsistent. They go from amazing performances to just average performances like literally every other set. It's crazy. I don't understand it. Maybe now that Kariv is one of their main DPS players, they'll be a more consistent team, because it is true Silk Thread and Agilities did struggle at times, and there were maps and sets that they played where they looked very, very average. So this could be what they needed. Envy and Fate have always been very consistent and strong performers for the Los Angeles Valiant. I think Soon was definitely one of the least inconsistent out of their Western DPS players. He usually always plays pretty good. Yesterday, though, specifically, he played very good. One of his best sets so far. A dominant performance from Soon. Envy, I mentioned him. Either him or Soon was the MVP yesterday. Envy was all over the place, killing everybody, protecting his team, as he always does. And Kariv, they're proving the haters wrong with putting Kariv in. He seems to be better than any of their Western DPS players that they got left, so I think it's the right move. Los Angeles Valiant, they looked really good. Hopefully they can keep doing that and perform at the same level, because if they can, they're probably one of the best Western teams, if not the best. So I can't wait to see their matches next week. And now, let's talk about the Dallas Fuel, guys. What the hell is going on with them? Why is Effect sitting out on the stage by himself during halftime when his team is in the back probably strategizing, figuring out what they need to do to come back to win the game? It doesn't make sense to me. And the thread about this on Reddit absolutely blew up. There's so many people talking about it, so many people throwing out their opinions on what they think. And overall, it seems like most people agree with me. It doesn't make sense. Why is Effect staying out there? Even if you're like playing bad and you want to warm up your mechanics or make sure you're mechanically ready for the next map, going and talking with your team and figuring out what the team issue is going to help your team win more. Not you trying to carry the team or have a better performance. Because, I mean, no offense to Effect, no matter how good he played in this game, if he played at his best level, they still would have lost those first 3 maps. His team overall got destroyed. They needed to figure out why they were losing as a team, where the issues lied. And going into that 3rd map, Hollywood, after the break, they just got rolled again. They got completely stomped. Sure, they did pick up Gibraltar, as I mentioned, thankfully, but still, I don't understand what Effect is doing. I don't know why the Dallas Fuel are allowing him to do that. It doesn't make sense. One of the top upvoted posts on the Reddit thread was this by HS Premier. I feel like they should sub Effect out for a bit, put in Rascal. Not that I think Effect should be benched, hell no. He is still one of the best traces in the world, but I think he needs a break. A response to him, time ticking away, said, in the grand scheme of Overwatch history, I should imagine that Rascal is a more proven player than Effect anyway. Feel like a lot of people aren't giving him the respect he's earned. And I actually really agree with this. I feel like there's a lot of people in my comment section who are undervaluing what Rascal has done. I don't know if it's because you guys didn't watch the Apex and Korean scene. If you followed that scene, you would know this guy was one of the best DPS players in the entire world at one point. Him and Birdwing were literally considered the best duo to ever touch the game. During their Apex Season 3 run, Rascal was considered the best Pharah in the world, the best Genji in the world, and he was also one of the best on every single other DPS hero, which was crazy. There's just a bunch of posts through this Reddit thread. I'm definitely going to scroll through it on this video, and you guys can definitely pause this video and read through some of these, but it's just a lot of negative things towards the Dallas Fuel, which I kind of agree with a lot of them. This one guy said their personalities don't mesh well. I mean, I really think that's true. I don't think these guys mesh well together, and I hate to bring that back to XQC and Taimu, but I feel like they are 2 of the biggest offenders, and now I think Effect is as well. The most upvoted post says this, I can't help but have the feeling that Effect is being immature. Even if he knew he was performing poorly and wanted to practice during this small window of time, talking with his team would have certainly helped him more. The team mentality just doesn't seem to be there for him, and I always feel like he has the I have to carry mindset. And this guy actually kind of nailed it. I think that's a very good post. It also comes back to the management and the coaching staff. Why are they allowing this type of behavior? Don't they understand that this looks bad for their organization, and overall it's just not going to help them in any scenario? HS Premier also had another post. He said, I have watched Effect stream when he was in Korea, and his mentality was very weak. He gets tilted really fast, and he is quite toxic. Alright, so this is the last post that I actually want to bring up the most. It's from ID370. He said, feels bad, man. Who are you gets benched for less? When Effect was brought in, you wonder why he was perma-benched by Meta Athena. But you compare him with Libero, and you instantly know why. This comment right here actually really gets me thinking. Effect was on Meta Athena, and he was perma-benched. He didn't get play at all. And we all know how good Effect was. It makes you think that, wow, he probably had some serious attitude issues when he was on Meta Athena, and that was the reason they didn't run him. Then when you look at Who Are You and how he was benched on Lunatic High, the guy literally got subbed out of Lunatic High after carrying them through an entire season and getting them their first championship. They literally subbed him out for him telling their captain that he didn't play the game enough. It just shows the level of discipline that these Korean teams provide. The infrastructure they have is honestly just way above the Western one. And I think we all know this, Western players, Western teams in all of esports, from League of Legends, CSGO, Overwatch now, they're a lot more laid back. The players, they don't get punished as much as they should, and they really do kind of have free reign over their lives. Whereas a lot of these Korean teams, they're not even allowed to like socialize, have girlfriends, stuff like that. And we see on these Western teams, a lot of the players are actually like sort of running the organization. When we look at like Misfits and Florida Mayhem, this team has kind of been player ran the entire time. That's why coming into the Overwatch League, they only had 6 players, because I believe the players only wanted that. And we've seen what Alakis has said about Misfits, whether it's true or not. He said on Twitter that they were player ran, and they kind of drove the team down They could have been much better if they had an actual coach and an actual infrastructure. And we see this a lot in Western esports, not just with Misfits, but in general, this happens a lot. So I really do think the Korean infrastructure is really good, and they're a step ahead of the Western one. And I think that's why we see like the Houston Outlaws coming out and being one of the best Western teams, because their management is actually full of Koreans and they have that Korean mindset and infrastructure coming in for them. And that's basically it for this. I've gotten pretty deep into this. I don't want to go any further. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop a subscription to the channel. I upload videos every single day like this. If you need your Overwatch daily fix, you can get it here. Thank you for watching the video, guys. Drop a like on it. Follow Team KINGmykL on Twitter. We have 2 insane Contenders Trials matches coming up today and tomorrow. If we win them both, we are in the Contenders League. So if you want to stay up to date on those matches, you have to follow our Twitter. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.